Hello, my name is Jennifer Palazzola, and in this video, I will show you a summarization of the photographic technological timeline and how it affected photojournalism. Yay! In 1810, Joseph Nicephore Niepce, a French scientist, began experimenting with light-sensitive materials. A partnership between Niepce and a man named Louis Daguerre, French artist and photographer, in order to create a new method of lithography, which is the art of printing. By using substances such as acid, solvents, and a light-sensitive compound known as asphaltum, this method was then improved upon by Carl Klick in 1979, and the photogravure was born. This is the image of an enhanced version, viewed from a window, 1826, by Joseph Nicephore Niepce. This is another photogravure image called Zelletta, taken in 1899 using Carl Klick's perfected technique. The photogravure was the very first step in the coming up with a photographic technique in which photojournalists could actually apply to the field. In a timeline of photographic technologies, the photogravure would definitely be first on the list. In the late 1800s, the twin lens reflex camera, or TRL, had been invented. It featured, as the name suggests, two lenses, one for viewing and one for shooting. A flaw in this camera was that you would view a subject upside down and backwards, so it might have been confusing to use. With this camera, photojournalists could, for the first time ever, photograph outside of a studio. Next, 35mm color film had been invented by William Dickson in 1892. It became the international standard device in 1909. This meant that photojournalists from around the world used this process of taking 3 layers and dyes, exposing them to silver salts, which they absorbed, which then came up with an image. For these photojournalists, it was much faster than the techniques used prior. Our fourth item in our photographic timeline is the speed graphic camera. It was most dominant from 1900 to 1950. The speed graphic camera had a fast shutter speed, which allowed for it to take shots of sports and active events. It was the most used camera during World War II because it allowed for rapid movements. Arthur Felig, otherwise known as Luigi, used the speed graphic camera to take crime scene photographs in New York City. From 1957 to 1975, we have had technological advancements like no other period of time. With Nokia and Kodak leading the production of modern cameras, modern photography has helped photojournalists take more detailed photographs with overall better quality. Modern photography refers to the digital age of photography. In 1969, Bell Laboratories had invented a charge-coupled device, or CCD. A CCD converts light into electrical signals. This was a key breakthrough to modern photography because it began the digital photography revolution. The footage you are currently seeing is of a digital video I have taken with an iPhone 7 Plus camera. Now you are seeing footage taken with a digital Nokia camera. In today's world of phototechnology, we now have high-quality cameras attached to phones, which are readily available to the public. Because such fantastic cameras on cell phones are almost the same as professional cameras, such as the digital Nokia camera used for these shots, we have reached an age of citizen journalism. This means that anyone can become a photojournalist as long as they have a good camera, like one on their cell phones, and proficient writing skills. With the launch of satellites came the invention of a satellite phone, or sat phone. Sat phones use satellites to make calls anywhere on the planet, even without cellular data coverage or Wi-Fi. The first satellite phone call was answered by President Lyndon Johnson in 1965. The reason why it is such an important invention to photojournalism is because for the first time in history, photojournalists can go to war-torn countries and still be connected to their publishers. In times of war, there is likely to be no cell phone signal, therefore no way to send digital images and video to editors. However, using sat phones, photojournalists are able to use satellites to send content back to publishers. One of my favorite movies of all time, Transformers, use a satellite phone in a scene where they are attempting to call an airstrike onto the Decepticon Scorponok.
Fire! Pentagon call. I need you. You understand this is an emergency? I don't have a credit card!
Sir, the attitude is not going to speed things up any bit at all. I'm going to ask you to speak into the mouthpiece very clearly.
I'm in the middle of a war! This is friggin' ridiculous!
Another important invention to photojournalism were blogs. Invented in 1994 by a Swarthmore College student named Justin Hall, they began as complicated computer programs, and one would need the knowledge of a computer programmer in order to even post on a blog. Today, blogs have become a lot easier and a part of our everyday lives. Social media sites such as Tumblr, Facebook, and Instagram are all types of blogs. For photojournalists, the creation of blogs led to more creative images. This is because they no longer needed to please a publisher in order to show their photographs and articles with the world. They simply needed to create a blog. Lastly, and in my personal opinion, one of the coolest inventions to the photographic world would be the invention of drones. Drones are made up of light composite material that can endure falls from great heights. Essentially, it's a camera attached to an unmanned aircraft. For photojournalists, this innovation allows footage to be taken of unreachable destinations or unsafe territories. With the help of drones, the art of photojournalism can now be done safer than ever, not to mention the ability to take amazing aerial photography, which has never been achieved without the use of a plane, helicopter, or some other aircraft. And that was my summarization of the photographic technological timeline and how it affected photojournalism. I hope you had as much fun watching this video as I did making it.